Okay, well, tonight's topic is how to be assertive without feeling guilty or condemned. Because let's be honest, sometimes when we try to be assertive, we do feel that way. Yeah, so let's start with Ephesians 4:22 to 25. That exhorts us to speak honestly and truthfully with one another, being God's children, being followers of Christ. So, you were taught, with regard to your former way of life, to put off your old self, which has been corrupted by its deceitful desires, to be made new in the attitude of your minds, and to put on the new self, created to be like God in true righteousness and holiness. Therefore, each of you must put off falsehood and speak truthfully to your neighbor, for we are all members of one body. So in godly, healthy relationships, people know how to express themselves and their thoughts and their desires in loving, respectful, and truthful ways. I mean, honestly, being able to speak and to receive the truth, that is a symbol or a sign of maturity, right? I can speak truth in a respectful way, I can receive truth in a calm way. And so when there's maturity, there's safety, there's trust, there's connection. When the opposite happens, which is when we're being passive or aggressive, then disconnection can result. We can get distressed, and so we undermine safety and trust. Okay, so when you hear this word assertiveness, what comes up for you? What is a picture of an assertive person for you? Maybe you think they're being bossy or domineering, or they're being rude or selfish or arrogant. So these are just some of the behaviors that we have welded assertiveness to, right? So remember, a weld is when you link two different concepts together to mean the one and the same thing. That's a weld. And these welds that come from childhood, a lot of them, most of them that come from childhood and our homes that we grew up in. For example, you might have watched your family members, they're trying to express, what they need and what they want, but they're rude or bossy or mean about it because they probably believe, well, that's how I get heard. That's how I get what I want in this family. So I have to be rude or bossy or loud. Or maybe you try to speak the truth, but you were shut down or punished for that. So you just went quiet and you just went along with what everybody else thought. Because it's easier to do that, right? Or maybe we're confused at what assertiveness is. Like, is it okay to be assertive, in our culture, to our family members? Aren't we supposed to be kind and helpful and say yes to everyone? Because isn't that what the Bible says? We're loving, we're kind, we're thoughtful. Or am I hurting someone else's feelings if I'm being honest with them? Maybe we think that too. Or does it mean I'm just going to get my own way, I'm just being selfish, and it's sinful? So we have confused ideas about what assertiveness is because we weld it to the experiences we had in childhood. We weld like, that's assertive, but that experience equals that. No, I don't want that. So if you don't notice these welds, they can stay unexamined and you might never want to be assertive. But then you still have to express yourself, right? So then you'll be either passive or aggressive in expressing, communicating what you truly want, what you truly think. Yeah, but here's a question. Do you want to be heard? Do you want to be understood? Do you want to be known? Then learn to be assertive. There's a healthy, godly way of being assertive. So what does it mean, actually, being assertive? Well, it means to express the truth in love, expressing your thoughts and desires in an honest, respectful, considerate way that honors God, honors others, and honors myself. And that's mentioned in Ephesians 4. But also the verses above says to speak truthfully to one another in love too. So before we get into what is assertiveness, let's look at what is not assertiveness, like passive and aggressive communication, things we're really good at, being passive or aggressive in our communication. So remember, if you're not assertive, it undermines trust. It really erodes trust because people can't trust you, right? Because you're like, I don't know what you want. You never say it. Or, whoa, why are you so aggressive? Why are you so angry? Oh, I don't trust you. I don't trust to ask you things and to open up. Okay, so let's look at passive communication. Passive communication, the mindset is like, be chill, go with the flow, don't rock the boat. So passive communication seeks to avoid conflict. We could be a people pleaser. We're like, I don't want conflict. So when you communicate, you might hint, you might be indirect, you might be just general, and you might even be very apologetic. I'm so sorry, but can I ask, can you do this? I'm sorry. And your yes is a no, and your no is a yes quite often. Man, how do I trust that? Oh, I can't. So it can also look like you're being really busy, rushing around. I want to help everyone. I can't say no, so I'm doing so many things. And you know what you're doing there is you are ignoring and dismissing your own rights and your own needs. That's what you're doing. You're actually becoming invisible because you're too focused. You're maximizing other people and you're minimizing yourself. So then you never actually get to know your true self. You're just too focused on others, meeting their needs. What do they want? What do they desire? I will come and fill them. So do you see that? There is a cost to being passive with your communication. And, you know, you might think peace at any price, but you'll be paying the ultimate price. And that price is burnout and being invisible, is just really the ultimate one. Resentful, and you withdraw and you just miss out. And you never actually get to know who you are on the inside. And other people don't really know the real you too. They're like, well, your yes is yes. Your yes is no and your no is yes. And they can't really trust in what you say. Okay, so that means also you don't have any boundaries, right? Because you're always conforming to other people's wants and needs and opinions and preferences and desires. So, you know, in that way, you set yourself up to be controlled by others. You set yourself up to depend on others. And that's why your feelings can go up and down, because you're like, if you're happy, then I'll be happy. If you're upset, then this must be my fault. Right? So you become controlled by others. And so you don't learn self-control, self-regulation, self-awareness. You don't really know who you are. So, but ultimately, this is the thing. You're avoiding taking responsibility for your own behavior. So being passive is just always you decide, you lead whatever you want. You. So nothing of me. I don't take any responsibility. That means I never have to decide. But that means I never grow. Because when I take responsibility, I will grow because I take on the consequences. So here I want to say to all us passive communicators, you get to choose. Remember, you always have agency. You have autonomy. You still have the power to choose. Why don't you exercise this a bit more? Okay, aggressive communication, the other extreme of non-assertive communication. The mindset is, I win, you lose. I win, you lose. So it's all about pleasing myself more than pleasing God or others. And so aggressive people, they seek to defend and to protect their own desires. They feel threatened. If it's not going to be happen, I'm not going to get it my way. And they feel they need to fight for what they want. It's a shortcut to express what you really want. And so you might say things loudly, bluntly, directly, harshly, angrily, without thinking about how might other people feel. You're trying to force others to do what you want because you feel insecure and powerless. You want to control the externals because you cannot control the internals. That's what control is all about. Losing control of myself, of my emotions, of my inner world. You believe yelling is the only way to be heard, to be noticed, to get things done, and you use blaming language. You always, you never. And so people who are on the receiving end of aggression, they might feel blamed and they feel like, I deserve this treatment. So here's a question. Do you seem to lose friendships? Does your anger frighten people? You might feel like, oh, I'm gaining power. I'm strong, I'm in control. And when I release my anger through aggressive communication, but what happens is you burn bridges. Okay, you cut off friendships along the way. Is that what you really want? Do you want to change? So the first step in changing is the hardest. I mean, to pull back, to self-reflect, and to do some inner reflection, and also reach out for help. It's really hard for aggressive people to ask for help because they already feel very guilty and condemned for being so aggressive. But we all need to humble ourselves. So aggressive people need to learn to be assertive too. So assertiveness isn't just for passive communicators, it's also for aggressive communicators. Okay, so let's look at assertive communication. What does that say? What is that belief? It says, I know who I am, I know what I want, I know what I need, and I can honestly, respectfully, and thoughtfully express this. So do you see that? Holistic. It's holistic. So an assertive person takes responsibility for their own choices. They're a good listener, a good problem solver, a good team player. You use discernment and self-reflection. You're wise in how you carry yourself, how you communicate in any situation. By the way, you're not born like this. We all have to learn this. Your communication is honest, it's clear, it's considerate, it's respectful. You respect yourself and others. You value other people's rights, and you value your own rights and other people's rights, including the right to express your opinions, your ideas. You can say no, you can make the decisions. You have the courage to share your feelings and thoughts and desires, even in difficult situations. You're open and direct. At the same time, you seek to understand and engage others. You want others to be heard as well. And you can tend to be more calmer and self-assured because you're not fighting and you're not avoiding conflict. You're not fighting for what you want. You're quite secure in yourself. So you can tend to be happier. Yes, assertive people are more happier. They have more confidence. They have a deeper sense of personal value. Yeah, so you just experience more peace and you have a greater self-awareness. Isn't that a great place to be in? I want to be in that place more and more. Yeah, so assertive people have thriving, authentic relationships because they're open, they're truthful and respectful. You know what to expect from an assertive person because they're transparent, they're open, they're direct, they're honest. So do you want to be an assertive person? Yes, we all want to be more assertive in our communication, but in our hearts as well. So maybe I've been talking about the skills, and now let's look at what drives an assertive person. Now, there are 4 core character qualities that you can develop over time to be more assertive. And these are foundational to learning the skills of assertiveness. I believe you can learn skills, but you might just go back into your old habits if you don't have the heart, if you don't develop these inner qualities in you. So number 1 is you know who you are. This is very foundational. You know who you are because you know and you embrace your God-given identity and uniqueness. You know that you know, not in here, that God loves you. He accepts you. Even though people may not love you, even though people may not accept you, you are anchored in God's love and acceptance. And because you know God and you know who you are, you know what your strengths are, you know what your weaknesses are, your gifts and your talents and abilities. And I really love this verse, and as a young Christian, I used to embrace it so much. It's Daniel 11:32. And this is true. Those who know their God shall be strong and do great exploits. Isn't that awesome?
That's a good verse.
Know your God, you will be strong and you will do great exploits. I loved it as a young Christian. It's made me grow and it's made me take faith risks, so many. And it's been so fun. So you are a person who is confident and not afraid to take risks. And then you make your voice be heard because you're not afraid of, what are people going to think about me? I'm really secure in myself. I know what God told me. I know what he showed me. I know who I am. But then you're not arrogant with it, right? You're gentle. You're humble. You're secure in being your true self because you don't feel this drive to be someone you're not. Right? Okay, so that's number one. And number two is then you, from knowing who you are, then you know what you want. You cannot really know what you want if you don't know who you are. What am I made of? What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? What are my passions? What are my dreams? Then from there, I know what I want or need. So you relate to God personally, right? Then you relate to yourself equally. So you're self-aware, you're self-reflective. You know how to resolve your difficult feelings. So you understand your values, your convictions, your preferences, your priorities, your personality, and you are secure. You're not like, but okay, I have this, but I don't know. What about the other person? They're better than me. I'm not like them. But no, you're secure. You're like, I totally embrace how God made me. He loves me, totally accepts me. So guys, this is an ongoing journey that we grow in, right? That revelation, that personal walk with God. So with these inequalities, right, they frame your perspectives, right? They frame how you see yourself and how you see the world, and then how you communicate your desires. And you communicate with clarity, with respect. Do you see that clarity though? How do you be clear in what you want when you're not very clear about yourself? It's hard. If you don't know who you are, it's hard to know what you want. Right? Know who you are, then you'll know what you want. So if who you are isn't anchored in God, right? It's anchored in people's opinions about me, what my parents say about me. If it's not anchored in God and the truth, then who you are will keep changing, right? Like their opinions change of me, so I'm going to change how I see me. That's a horrible way to live, guys. You are building your life on shifting sand. It's not solid. It's not stable. So build yourselves in God and in His truth. And then you'll see the direction. And number 3, this is really important. You maintain healthy boundaries. Now, you guys have heard about setting boundaries. Guess what? The other half is maintaining them. Don't forget, you set them, but you have to maintain them. Let me explain what that means. So maintaining them means you are consistent at keeping those boundaries. You communicate it, but you keep it. Right? So here's an example. Let's say my boundary is, or what I want from this is that we meet for 1 hour. But then every time you meet with your friend, you go into 2 hours or 3 hours. You broke your own boundary. And then the next time you meet with a friend, you keep it to 1 hour. But the time after, it's like 4 hours. So it's, very up and down. It's inconsistent. So maintaining your boundaries, you are consistent every single time. You can be trusted if you're consistent. Now, here's the question. Do you respect your own boundaries? If you don't, nobody else will then. Okay? If you don't respect your own boundaries, don't expect anyone else to. Because you know why? They're your boundaries. So you have to be consistent every time. Mean what you say and say what you mean. This builds trustworthiness, both in yourself and with others. So here's the thing about boundaries, which we think is for other people, but it's not. So boundaries are for my own protection. I am protecting me with a boundary, right? So imagine a gate. My boundary is my gate. I will decide what I let in, and I'll decide what I let out. That's my boundary. And a boundary also says, this is me, and that's you. So there's very clear lines of where I am and where you are. And you need to communicate that really well and maintain it consistently. So a boundary is actually for you, okay? The mistaken belief is boundaries are for other people, to control them, to keep them, stop them from doing this. But no, it's for me. It's not for the other person. It's to protect my own well-being. It's to protect my own well-being. And only I can set my boundaries. And here's the thing. You cannot use boundaries to control others. We can't control other people. We like to think we can, but we can't. That's the truth. But the only person we can control is us, and that's good because I'm in control of me, just like you're in control of you. That's good news. Sometimes we feel powerless, and the whole mindset about being powerless is, I have to control the people, but I can't. That's looking externally outside of yourself creates powerlessness. God gave us agency. He gave us free will. I'm in control of myself. I can make decisions for me. Only I can do that. You might feel forced to, but only you can do that at the end of the day. Right, so respect your boundaries. Other people will respect it too. Now, when you believe you're loved and you're valued, right, you'll do a better job of protecting yourself. When you really believe, I am loved, I am valued, I'm going to show that I love and value myself by setting and maintaining these boundaries. I have worth in God. I'm going to treat myself like God sees me. So that has got to be your inner truth, your truth coaches. That's some of them. And the last thing is, I'm coming near the end, is number 4, you know how to express yourself assertively. Now, that's certainly a skill, right? Because we talked about know who you are, know what you want, you set boundaries. And the last thing is a skill that we all need to keep building. How do I express myself assertively? Right? That skills, like any other skill, takes a lot of practice until you get natural at it, until it's not just a habit, but further from that is, I feel natural in doing this. I don't even question it anymore. Right? You want to arrive at this place. Okay, so here's some tips for how you can be more assertive practically. The first one, if you've never done it before, if you find it hard, mentally prepare yourself. Think about, how am I going to say this? What am I going to say? And when should I say this? Prepare your heart, prepare your mind, prepare your speech. Mentally prepare. So it does require work. Okay, and the second thing is use I statements. I statements take down defensiveness, right? So instead of you, say, I would like, I need this from you, I'm feeling, I've been thinking, I've noticed. So I statements talk about you first, I. The other thing is express gratitude or positivity at first. Thank you for asking. I appreciate you asking this. I appreciate that you noticed this. So positivity and gratitude. That always makes people relax and, it flows. And be clear, be concise, be direct and specific. So that's assertive communication. Like, for example, I'd like us to finish at 1 p.m. today because I have another meeting at 2 p.m. Is that okay? Right? So concise, specific, direct. I statement. Don't worry, guys, you have an exercise coming up. So you're going to be practicing about how to be assertive. And so the next thing is be in a clear, calm tone. Because it's not just about what you say that people hear. Often they hear the tone first, especially guys. So be calm and gentle. Sometimes you're like, why didn't you hear me? They're like, oh, why were you shouting? No, I couldn't hear you because you're shouting. Right? So check your tone, make sure you're calm and clear. And this is after a lot of self-reflection, right? Yeah, so now I guess one more encouragement before we get into our exercise. Being honest and direct is going to feel awkward at first if you haven't tried it. And it could be awkward for the other person as well. But remember, learn how to sit with difficult, uncomfortable feelings. You're like, I need to speak this truth in love. I need to say it. I'll say it gently. It's going to feel awkward. But I'm going to be okay. That's okay. That person needs the truth. It's good for them. So if you're new at this, it will feel awkward. But don't let the awkwardness stop you, right? You can hold the awkwardness and still be assertive. It's possible to hold difficult feelings and still be gentle and calm and express what you want. This takes a lot of skill. But listen, If you want to be vulnerable, the heart of it is this: I want to be vulnerable. I want to take a risk. It requires vulnerability, to be honest, to be truthful, bottom line. And you can do that because remember, you're secure in God. You know He's got your back. I am loved. I'm secure. I don't need anybody to validate me. I don't need them to be happy with me. They can be upset. I'll be okay. So we all need to come to that place of maturity so that we can express truth and receive truth. This matures us, as the Bible says. Okay, I'm finished. I'm done. Are there any questions before you do this assertiveness exercise in your peers?
To speak truth of love.
Hmm.
Where does the love come from? God?
Yes. 1 Corinthians 13 talks about love. It's all its godly attributes. Yeah. We grow in the love of God. It changes our heart, our character. Healing heals us. Yeah. It is the love of God. Our human love is not great. It's not going to do it. Yeah?
I have a question.
Yes.
Because I think for me as a Christian,
Yes.
like the reason why I would struggle with being assertive and, tend to be more passive and like give people what they want
Okay.
is because I feel I've always felt like I need to put others first, like love others, put others. So I just thought I'd bring up this
Of course.
bad way of thinking so that you could comment on it.
Do you guys want to chip into that?
The toxic thing that we learn from children's church, that's called joy.
Jesus first, others second, yourself last.
Yeah.
Joy.
Yeah, there's
Joy.
there's a recipe for burnout. So we don't do that. If you don't know how to care for yourself, and then you try to seek to care for the other person, it will never work. So yeah.
I think, believe it. So if we truly know the love of God, we carry it right, we've received it right. So that's in me already, and that's how I can love others. I can't skip me. How do I love God and skip me and love other people? Like I'm not filled. I don't have His love. How do I love other people properly? Which sometimes means to speak the truth to them, right? It's not only just doing things for them, but sometimes we need to speak truth to them. Better are, what is that Bible verse? Better are kisses from, no. Better is a rebuke from a friend than kisses from the enemy. Yeah. So maybe I can encourage you to explore and to pursue God's love for you. Yeah.
No, thank you.
Thanks for the question. Thank you so much. Yep. Okay. I'm really excited about this exercise.